everyone, welcome to the channel Chess Professor. So in this video I will be teaching you some middle game strategies so that you can play good in the middle game. So this is an example game in which the opening is done, all pieces are developed, the king is castled, and now it's your turn to move and you are thinking what can you move. So to solve this problem, I will be showing you a total of 10 different strategies so that you can boost your middle game performance and win games. So starting with the first strategy. The first strategy is to develop your queen. So a- as now all the minor pieces are developed, you should develop your queen to these three central squares which I have highlighted with the blue arrow. So now this one square is occupied by the pawn, and now you can go to d2 or e2. I would recommend d2 because if you go to e2, this knight can come here, which targets the queen, and then you have to move the queen again. So it's not a very good move, and very good to play queen to e2. So you play queen to d2. Now after this your opponent plays bishop to e6, and here comes our second strategy. Don't do exchanges which helps your opponent. So what do I mean by help? For example, if you trade your bishop with this bishop, now this pawn push to d5 is strengthened by this pawn, also by this pawn. Also, your opponent has gotten a semi-open f file for his rook. So instead, you could just play bishop b3, and here if black did the same mistake to do this exchange, now you have gotten this open a file for your rook. Now in this game didn't happen, and then queen to d7 was played, meaning that your opponent also developed his queen. So for after this comes the third strategy. The third strategy is to activate the rook, mainly the a rook first if you have castled king side, and if you have castled queen side, the h rook first. So now you might be thinking where to develop the a rook. You can develop it at the d file, e file, c5, as these target the central squares, mainly d and e file. So here to solve this problem comes the fourth strategy, which is to form batteries. Batteries can be formed with two rook and a queen and a bishop, a queen and a bishop, and lastly, sorry, a rook and a queen. A rook and a queen. So now this is a battery because you have stacked up two pieces which attack in the same direction, which is in the forward direction for now. This is also in battery with an bishop and the queen which attacks diagonally. So after this your does the same, and after that comes your fifth strategy, mainly more than a strategy. As you have developed everything, rooks, queens, knights, bishops, you have in center. Now you can go for a straightforward attack. Now you can do attack in two ways. So the fifth strategy focus on the first way, which is to sacrifice material to open up the position. Now here you can sacrifice the bishop on h6, because after captures, now your queen is in your enemy's territory, sorry, and also near the king. But even after this you can't find a straightforward attack. So instead you could go for the sixth strategy, which is pawn break or trading pawns. So now here you can play this move pawn to d4, but before that, just trade in this game. White traded the bishops, as there is no benefit for your opponent. Just these pawns are doubled. So this trading is good. So here you can go for the strict strategy, which is pushing pawns or going for pawn break to open up the position. Now here after take, Now, if you see, you have opened up your position. Your rook and queen have gotten an also gotten an semi-open file, and now you can go for your attack. Now, after this, your opponent went for an attack by sacrificing the bishop. You white captured, and then black recaptured. Now the black queen is in your territory, and your king is now not safe. So here you can go for the seventh strategy, which is to neutralize opponent pieces which are on your side of the board. Your side of the board are the first four rows and columns. Meaning if you are white 1 to 4, and then after that making a whole rectangle, black 5 to 8. So here, as the black's queen is on your side of the board, you can neutralize it, meaning push it away by playing some moves. You can play rook to d3, or even queen to e3 or d3. Here white decided to play rook to d3, which is also the best stockfish move. Now after this queen is attacked and has to move. Black Black played queen to h4. Now what can you do? So for this comes the eighth strategy, which is to find and improve the least active piece. The least active piece is the piece which is doing no task in the game. So here all the other pieces are doing some task. For example, this rook push the queen, and now the queen here. This knight protects. This bishop aims at the strong diagonal, and this queen is in the center of the board. So here the least active piece is the rook. So here either you can go for e1, and after that rook to e3, and after that rook to h3 to make the rook a little active. But this is a very slow process which contains of three moves. So here instead white played king g2. Now this activates the king somehow, as the endgame is almost coming after the queens get raided, and the king has to go towards the center of the board. And after that, this move rook to h3 is coming, which also neutralizes this queen which is on our side of the board still. Now after this, black played f df rook to e8, and after that, as I told you, rook to h1, targeting this queen. The queen checks at g4, but after that you can block it again with this g3 rook to neutralize this piece. After this queen goes to f4, still on our side of the board. So this piece got neutralized finally after queen to e3, and then queen to e5 was played. Now after this, now after this, what you might play? White, what you might play as white? You might go for something like queen to h6, which you think is a brilliant move. Why? Because this pawn is pinned to the rook. But here, black can do a simple tactic, which is capturing this rook, and after that capturing the queen. Now we have one less rook, meaning that this brilliant move is not a brilliant move and instead a blunder. So instead, what can you can go to our next strategy, which is the ninth strategy, which is switch calculation. So what did you wanted to do before? After capturing this pawn, you wanted either this rook or this queen to capture this pawn to checkmate the black king. Instead, you can just straight away go for the attack, rook to g7, and this covers one more strategy, which is our last strategy, which is going for forcing moves, which are check, captures, and attacks. So now check is the most important move, and here after this check you can go for a straightforward check mate in two. Meaning that you have played a very usual check to checkmate the opponent. So with this, I cover all the strategies of this video. So if just I revise you, so the first strategy, let's just go back a little. Yes. So here the first strategy is to develop the queen, and now the second strategy is to not do unmotivated exchanges, which helps your opponent. Now Now the next strategy is to activate the rooks and form battery. Activate the rooks, and after that, the next strategy, which is the fourth strategy, is to form batteries if you can. After that, the fifth strategy is to sacrifice to open up the position, which you can do like this. And the sixth strategy is going for pawn break or pawn pushes. So after this, now you have gotten a much dominant position than before. Now after this, your opponent went for a straightforward attack. Now after this, the seventh strategy is to neutralize opponent's pieces on your side of the board, which you can do by rook to d3. The queen comes, and now the next strategy is to find and improve the least active piece, which in this case is this rook on f1. So we played king to g2, which also develops the king towards the center. And now we are aiming for rook to h1, attacking this queen. Rook to rook to e8, and after that rook to h1. Black give gave check, and now we follow the strategy to neutralize pieces for some time. After that is going for switch calculation, meaning that you were going to play queen to h6, and after that go for this checkmate. But this leads to a blunder of the rook. So instead you can just sacrifice the rook, brilliant move, and after that queen to h6, and after that go for a checkmate. If you please like the video if you liked our middle game strategies, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Thank you.